full-time Roman Reigns is back, and it looks like he needs help. It's been recently said that Roman is a man with no tribe, a man with no nation, a man with nothing to lose. Solo has become the new tribal chief and has the numbers advantage with the Tongans and Jacob Fatu on his side. When Roman made his return at SummerSlam, the WWE Universe was in shock, but no one was more surprised than Solo Sikoa. Reigns made a decision to help Cody Rhodes retain his undisputed title against Solo. This lit the fire in the Bloodline Civil War. Since Roman's return, Solo has directed his attention from the undisputed champion, Cody Rhodes, to the OTC Roman Reigns. Roman has made it clear that he is not just the original tribal chief, but he is the only tribal chief and is on a mission to end Solo Sikoa's new bloodline. Roman is determined to get his Ulafala back and show Solo that he is still his tribal chief. As the rightful heir of the title tribal chief, Solo reminds Roman that he lost his undisputed Universal Championship to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and he has also lost his title as tribal chief. Once Cody became the top guy in the company, the bloodline was never the same. This didn't sit well with Solo, so he made some changes to the bloodline, taking out Jey Uso and the wise man, Paul Heyman, and then bringing in the new members of the bloodline, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu. Solo clearly had and still has the numbers advantage over Roman Reigns. Reigns would get the best of the bloodline to then get stopped by Solo's enforcer, Jacob Fatu. The odds were stacked against Roman until Cody Rhodes came back into the picture. With the enemy of my enemy mindset, the once rivals were now turned tag partners at Bad Blood. This of course doesn't sit well with friends of Cody, but that's another topic for another video. Even with the tag team efforts of Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, the bloodline still had the numbers advantage. That is until Jey Uso made his return. When Roman and Cody gets the win, that didn't sit well with Solo, so the bloodline jumped Cody in the ring. Although still rivals, Jimmy convinced Roman to help Cody from taking the beating from the bloodline. Hopefully, this can be a reason for some help from Cody in the future. When Jimmy made his return to Friday Night SmackDown, he had a match against his younger brother Solo. Solo attacked Jimmy and had him out of commission for months. Jimmy wanted his revenge. After the match, Roman came to help Jimmy, but was easily outnumbered by the bloodline. Before SmackDown went off the air, Jimmy tells Roman that they need some help. Unfortunately, Roman shut down Jimmy's idea of help from one person he knows well, Jey Uso. Roman responded with a solid no yeet. This is a place that Roman has never been before, the bottom. When Roman was running the show in the bloodline, they were ruthless, taking what they want and beating everyone that would oppose them. Because of this, Roman has made quite a few enemies, and not many people are willing to help him fight in this bloodline civil war. But can you really blame everyone? Roman and the bloodline wreaked havoc all throughout the WWE for many years. No one's going to just offer assistance after all the hell Roman put them through. Still with the idea to enlist help from the Intercontinental Champion Jey Uso, Jimmy made an appearance on Monday Night Raw. Unfortunately for him, Jey didn't want anything to do with Jimmy, Roman, or the bloodline. Jey was also someone who suffered multiple times from the hands of the bloodline. Family or not, this isn't something that can easily be forgiven. Although Roman didn't want to ask Jey for help, Jey still found his way to Friday Night SmackDown to confront Solo. In this heated face-off, Jey took a verbal jab at Jacob Fatu, creating enemies out of the new bloodline. On Monday Night Raw, Bron Breakker had a rematch with Jey Uso for the Intercontinental Championship. It didn't feel right knowing that Jey inserted himself in the bloodline feud, and because he did, Solo and Jacob inserted themselves in Jey's title defense. It looked like Solo wanted to help Jey retain his title, but as the match progressed, we see Jacob super kick and Samoan drop Jey on the announce table. Breakker took full advantage and ended the match with the super spear, costing Jey his Intercontinental Championship. Jey only held the Intercontinental title for about 28 days, and unfortunately the title was used to involve Jey into the Bloodline Civil War. I thought that Solo and Jacob would try and cost Jey his title, and Roman and Jimmy would have helped him retain. This way, Jey would have felt obligated to help Roman. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Although a lot of us aren't too happy with Jey losing his title, I feel this gives Jey more of a reason to join Roman. Jey still has his issues with Roman, but he'll have to put those issues to the side to get back at Solo and Jacob. He wouldn't be joining Roman to help him per se, but he'll be aligning himself with Roman because he now has a score to settle. The way I see it, this is a side mission for Jey Uso, and once this is over, he will be pursuing the IC title once again. Jey wasn't the only one to be screwed during a title defense. Solo, being the opportunist he is, confronted the Motor City Machine Guns after securing their #1 contenders spot for the Tag Team Championships to have a match on the spot with the Tongans. Solo probably thought the Bloodline had this win in the bag until Jimmy and Roman showed up to even the odds against Solo and Jacob, but what sealed the deal for the Tongans to lose their titles was a pissed off Jey Uso seeking revenge. Jey may have lost his IC Championship, but he gained his brother Jimmy back. Although Jey may have forgiven Jimmy, Sami hasn't, and being the great friend to Jey that he is, Sami stresses what Roman and Jimmy has done to Jey over the past few years. Jey simply responded to Sami with, "You wouldn't understand, you're not family." Shortly after Jey confronted Jimmy and let him know that when Jimmy and Roman turned their backs on Jey, Sami was there for him. Jimmy understood where Jey was coming from and trying to resolve any issues he wanted to speak with Sami. Unfortunately, Sami was seen talking to Solo, and that didn't sit well with the Usos. For all we know, Sami could have been speaking to Solo to resolve the Bloodline drama. SmackDown did things a bit different and pre-recorded the Friday night SmackDown before Crown Jewel, maybe due to travel and time zone conflicts in Saudi Arabia. Either way, we already know that when Jey, Jimmy, and Roman step foot in the ring together, Jey has some things to get off his chest. Jey tells Roman that this time around, things are going to be different. Jey and Jimmy are not Roman's do-boys, but they are all equals and will be respected as such. That they get back to the way that the OG Bloodline used to be, family taking over. Roman is in a different place and understands that right now he wants peace within the family, and to do that, he has to agree to Jey's wishes. All Roman could say was yeet. On the night of Crown Jewel, it was great to see the OG Bloodline back together. However, that was short-lived. It looked as if egos got in the way of Jey and Roman working well together. Jey took the lead and started the match. When it was time to tag in a teammate, Jey only tagged in Jimmy. Jey finally tagged in Roman when he was desperate and had no choice. Solo's new Bloodline took full advantage of the situation and dominated throughout the match. The new Bloodline ended up beating the OG Bloodline by Solo pinning Roman Reigns for the win, and not a lot of people are too happy how it ended. In my opinion, that was a great way to conclude the match. Over the past year, Solo has been built up and presented as the new Ruthless Tribal Chief, but due to Solo's previous losing track record, it was hard to take him seriously. So to have the leader of the new Bloodline actually pin the leader of the OG Bloodline is a great way in character development for Solo. Although the match was over, the new Bloodline still gave a beating to the OG Bloodline, particularly to Jey. When at the last moment Sami Zayn came to the ring to embrace Solo, only to trick him. Sami was actually coming to the aid of his friend Jey. Unfortunately, the night got worse when the OG Bloodline surrounded Solo. Sami and Roman went in for the attack only for Solo to duck out of harm's way, which ended up getting Roman kicked by Sami. Jimmy blames Sami for what happened, although it was clearly an accident. Sami doesn't care to prove himself or be on trial again within the Bloodline, but Jey said something to Sami that might make him reconsider joining the OG Bloodline for one last battle with Solo. Jey called Sami his brother and he said the name Sami Uso. Now that Jey and Sami are involved, I'm interested to see how far this goes. I thought that the build up to the OG Bloodline versus the new Bloodline would take some more time to add Sami sooner to balance out the odds. I guess I was wrong. And the Bloodline versus Bloodline match that took place at Crown Jewel is just the first match that they will have. I have a feeling that with Sami becoming involved, this can be a 4-on-4 Bloodline versus Bloodline at Survivor Series War Games. What do you think about the Bloodline feud? How do you feel about Jey and Sami reuniting with Jimmy and Roman? How do you feel about Solo pinning Roman? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the WrestleWire Productions YouTube channel for more weekly videos just like this one.